always investigating, always on your side. News Channel 5 starts now.
He's a great football coach. He's turned the program around. I don't think it matters.
A popular high school football coach accused of inappropriately touching one of his students. Now the town is reacting.
And they're off. The Rite Aid Cleveland Marathon is underway. The winners have already crossed the finish line. We'll see how the rest of the pack is doing in this weather.
But first, 10 o'clock this morning as we give you a live look outside. Look at those clouds over downtown Cleveland as we look across the shores of Lake Erie. A chilly, rainy, wet morning for you. Hello and welcome to this Sunday edition of Good Morning Cleveland. I'm Nick Foley.
And I'm Megan Hickey, joined by Power of 5 meteorologist Samara Theodore. Let's get right to the forecast, Samara.
You know what? I don't know about you, but that was one ominous shot. It was totally scary out there. Let's get straight to the forecast. I want to show you the radar. Okay, there's a lot going on. So you know out towards the west side along 20 there, that's where we have the runners. They're just seeing some light sprinkles, still pretty cold there. We've got some rain, snow action just south of Independence, and then up towards Shaker Heights, we're looking at lightning bolts. So it is quite the Sunday. May 15th is the date. The current temperature, 39 degrees. Another problem we're facing walking out the door. Winds out of the west at 17 miles per hour. That's just the sustained wind speed. So it's a pretty chilly start to the day. Our runners out on the Rite Aid Cleveland Marathon this morning experienced that rain-snow mix pretty early on. Temperatures really struggling with all this overcast. I highly doubt they're going to be leaving the low 40s as we head throughout the day. And remember, here on the Sunday edition of Good Morning Cleveland, we're Team Janessa. All right, so here's the headlines. As we head throughout the day, we are expecting that frost advisory to take place overnight. Rain, snow mix, we have to talk about that. And windy and cold weather. When is it going to feel a little bit more like spring, summer as opposed to winter, spring? We'll talk about that coming up. For now, over to you guys.
Yes, Samara, we may be whining about running or being outside in it for the snow, this rain. Imagine running in it for hours. And after all, it is marathon day. The starting gun just fired a few hours ago. Right now, nearly 20,000 runners are racing around the city.
The full 26.2-mile race is one of just many events happening today. Meg Shaw is a trooper. She is live along the route with more on what's going on. Meg?
Look at that.
Samara was just talking about it's quite a weather day. It is unbelievable. A lot of people telling me they've never seen anything like this, and neither have I. I cannot imagine what these runners are going through. But I want to step out of the way, show you guys we are here at the finish line at the Rite Aid Marathon. Now, the winner of the marathon did cross. He was the first male to finish 2 hours and 18 minutes. That is unbelievable. Now, that did not beat last year's first place winner, but 2 hours, unbelievable. We've been standing out here for about a half hour now watching people cross the finish line. It is truly amazing to watch these people cross the finish line. The look of joy on their face, the look of accomplishment. It's when you run 26 miles, that is amazing. I mean, I can't even imagine a lot of these people. There's tears, there's happiness, there's every emotion you can think of. Not to mention every weather element that they had to run through today. The wind, the rain, the snow. It was unbelievable. But 2 hours and 18 minutes was the fastest time for the men. I have not heard about the women yet. I'm still checking on that. Now, Nick, I have a fun, and Megan, a fun fact for you. When these runners are done, of course, they're getting their water, their food. 17,000 bananas will be eaten today by all of these runners. That is amazing, an amazing number. But before I get blown over, I'm going to send it back into you guys.
Not only the bananas, I wonder how many cups of hot chocolate they'll be using as well. So much respect for you, Meg, and all those runners.
Can I get one?
Else. Right, we need to bring you one. All the runners, whether it was the half or the full marathon, so much respect for anyone getting out in those elements this morning. Thank you very much, Meg. We'll check in with her in just a bit. Well, this morning, the Ohio State Highway Patrol is investigating a hit skip that left a pedestrian dead. It happened around 10:30 last night on State Route 46 in Ashtabula County. The Highway Patrol said 28-year-old Cassie Norden was walking along the road when she was hit and killed by a car. Right now, officials are looking for the driver of a late model Chevy Malibu with front end damage. If you have information, you're urged to call police. And if you're heading out on the roads this morning, you see the wind that Meg was dealing with, the rain. Well, you might see an alert about a missing adult on highway signs as well. Kettering police are expanding their search for Betty Fields Owens to the entire state of Ohio. Betty was last seen in the Dayton area on Thursday. She suffers from dementia and may be in need of medication. She's likely driving a maroon 1991 Buick Regal. If you see her, call police. Megan.
And Nick, this morning, the head football coach at Northwest High School in Canal Fulton is facing allegations of inappropriately touching one of his students. This is not the first allegation against Coach Vic Whiting. More than 20 years ago, he settled a lawsuit involving a 15-year-old student. He's never been criminally charged, but that could change with these latest allegations. The mother of the 15-year-old involved says after she went to police, several other girls came forward.
She said he massaged her shoulders and he stroked her arm and neck.
In class?
In class.
In front of other students?
In front of other students.
So far, the athletic director and school superintendent haven't returned our calls about the matter. A school board meeting is set for tomorrow, and it's expected to be standing room only.
Well, a black bear is roaming around a North Canton neighborhood. Police say the bear has been spotted a third time now. Neighbors living on Farview Drive Southwest saw the bear eating birdseed from a feeder in their backyard yesterday. It was first spotted in North Canton on Thursday in the area of Portage Street Northwest. Police are urging residents not to approach the bear, of course, as you can imagine, and report any sightings to wildlife officials. They say parents may want to drive kids into school if they normally walk or ride their bikes. Well, thank you so much for starting your Sunday here with us. I'm Nick Foley.
And I'm Megan Hickey. Coming up this morning, a local firefighter does Northeast Ohio proud as he claims the UFC Heavyweight Championship under the bright lights in Brazil.
And after more than a week of frantic searching and desperation, a 9-year-old girl is reunited with her family. We'll have the details surrounding her abduction. And Samara's got our local weather. Samara?
That's right. Here's a look at the finish line of the Rite Aid Cleveland Marathon. And these runners are battling wind, rain, and snow. We're going to talk about that in your full Power 5 forecast. Stick around. You're watching Good Morning Cleveland on a Sunday. Good morning and welcome back. It is in fact May 15th and we're waking up to some lake effect snow in a few areas in our snow belt. So let's go ahead and zoom in. And I know you're like, Samara, okay, the radar's just showing that there's no way that's true. Well, we've got photo proof. Thank you, Design Me. On Twitter, she just sent this to me. She said this is out in Beechwood. They've got a light coating there on the ground that's on her deck there. So we are off to a very wintry-like start, and we're going to dive really deep into this forecast a little later on. For now, though, I really want to get you started ready for that game this afternoon. Sprinkles and cloudy in downtown Cleveland at Progressive Field. I know they're playing against the Twins at 110. Temperatures are going to be in the low 40s, so it's going to be very chilly. It's also going to be extremely windy. That might impact a few of those baseballs there. That's right, Mother Nature fixed the game. We are going to see temperatures rising, though, this afternoon to the upper 40s. For now, though, Cleveland, this is where we're at. Winds out of the west at 15 miles per hour. Again, some light rain snow mixes falling in a few neighborhoods. And like I said, we'll take a look at that briefly. For now, back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Samara. Cleveland, we've got a champion, baby. Those were the winning words for the Ultimate Fighting champion, Stipe Miocic.
We are so proud of him. Last night, the Valley View firefighter claimed the UFC heavyweight title. Miocic took down champion Fabricio Verdum, knocking him out just 2 minutes and 47 seconds into the fight. Miocic is also a firefighter for Oakwood Village. Last night, his friends gathered at the Quaker Steak in Valley View to cheer on this hometown hero.
But if we could have the best fighter in the world, that's just Cleveland. We're a hard-nosed, blood-and-guts city that work hard, and he does that every day in the gym. And I think tonight is going to show, and he's going to show the spirit of the city for us.
It couldn't happen to a better guy. This is big, not only for him, but for Cleveland.
See, we do have a champion. Miocic is a former Gold Gloves champion as well and an NCAA Division I wrestler.
Cleveland doesn't have the glitz and glamour of New York or Chicago. The people that live here, their ancestors are from here.
You'll probably see this trending online this morning. ESPN aired Believe Land last night. It's the 30 for 30 about Cleveland's professional sports teams. The documentary, which was directed by Elyria native Andy Billman, looks at the highs and mostly the lows of the last 50 years in Cleveland sports history. It premiered last month at the Cleveland International Film Festival. This was the first time it aired nationwide, though.
See, now we just need the Cavs to follow in Stipe's footsteps and get that major sports championship.
Go Cavs.
We are so close. So as we head to break now, here's a look at last night's winning lottery numbers. Good luck. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. A number of deadly bus crashes to report this morning.
Yeah, the worst coming out of Texas, where 8 people are dead and another 44 are hurt. A charter bus headed to a casino crashed in far south Texas near Laredo. It was the only vehicle involved, but right now officials aren't sure exactly what happened.
Right now, everything is very preliminary for us as far as the contributing factors. All we do know is that he lost control of the bus and rolled over.
It was raining yesterday at the time of the crash, but that has not been ruled as a cause just yet.
And another bad crash, this time in India. 16 people are dead after a truck collided with a motorized rickshaw. 8 of the people who died were from the same family. Road accidents are common in India. Reckless driving and vehicle overcrowding are often to blame. And back in the United States, several people were injured in a head-on crash near Disney's Animal Kingdom. Authorities say an SUV going the wrong way crashed into a bus in Orlando. Both burst into flames. This is video of the aftermath. At least 11 people were taken to the hospital with injuries ranging from minor to serious.
And Megan, a Tennessee family very grateful to have their little girl back home where she belongs this morning. The town of Rogersville held a homecoming celebration for 9-year-old Carly Trent. An Amber Alert went out last week after she was taken from her school by her uncle. The search lasted more than a week, and eventually she was found on rural property by 2 Good Samaritans. Her father says he is forever indebted to them.
I just wanted to make sure I give them both a hug and know that I love them. I appreciate that for everything they've done, bringing my girl home.
Well, the 2 heroes say they were only doing what they would have wanted someone to do for their child. Carly's dad says she's the same happy little girl she always was, and is glad to be back with her family. Well, plans for the 2020 mission to Mars are taking off and creating more than 1,000 jobs for one Nevada company.
That's right. Sierra Nevada Corporation is developing a brake system for NASA vehicles on the Red Planet. The company is scouting recent college graduates to work at their offices in Nevada and Colorado, and they'll need all the talent they can get, considering their most ambitious project, called the Dream Chaser, needs to be operational by 2019.
The goal really is to determine the habitability of Mars. So we're collecting rock and oil samples, or NASA is, in order to see, is life possible?
Now, the company has worked with NASA more than a dozen times. It also designs products for the U.S. military.
So neat to see. So much left to discover. And joining us now is our resident NASA expert, Samara Theodore. Yeah.
Well,
Right?
I was actually working on Discovery AQ, which was a mission here on Earth.
Right.
And we were looking about the air quality in the D.C. area. But nonetheless, yes, there's so much more to explore on Mars. I know we've been doing explorations there since 1976, so I can't wait to see what they find out. Will you go live there?
Timeline, yeah.
Will you live there on planet Mars?
We'll see.
I don't know about that one.
All right, well, let's go ahead and see what's going on Earth, because it looks like we have enough wacky weather to deal with down here. Live picture outside right now showing a lot of clouds, okay? So it's still very overcast in downtown Cleveland. Let's get a look at that big temp. It's 40 degrees out there, and the time is now 10:18. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Okay, lake effect. That is the culprit behind what's going on May 15th. It feels a lot more like winter than actually spring or summer. I want you to know that it's not like a passing storm. When we have lake effect, it's like someone flipped a switch, and it's just like a generator. It just keeps going. That's why they've been getting pretty pounded out there with some moderate to heavy rain showers on the east side, as well as some snowfall this morning. And if you don't believe me, I have proof. Thanks to Design Me, she tweeted me. She said, Samara, snowing in Beechwood this midway morning. Here's a look at the picture that she provided for us. You can see there we have a light dusting or coating, so it's not much in the way of accumulation. We can definitely handle it here in Northeast Ohio. It's just a little different since we are seeing this in mid-May. Okay, so we run this through, and we actually saw some lightning strikes out towards Shaker Heights, and then we move a little farther south down towards Auburn. We are seeing some lighter showers, and north of that in Russell, that rain-snow line, where we're seeing the dividing line between the rain and the snowfall. Very light again. Looking at the big picture, this is what's going on. Cold air. Cold air dipping down into Northeast Ohio, and even farther south than that into Tennessee. We're seeing this cold air along with some energy generate these storms, snow showers and rain showers along the lake. As we head throughout the day, that's not the only issue we're battling. We've got wind as well. Temperatures right now, 40 degrees, 44 in Medina, but you factor in that wind chill, take a look at what it actually feels like. It feels like it's freezing in Cleveland at 32. Below freezing is the feel like in Elyria right now. And in the Power 5 7-day forecast, we break it down. You notice this is kind of the story for most of the day. 50 is for a few lucky ones out there in our viewing area. Sunshine for your Monday. As we head towards Tuesday, rain returns, but notice the temperature trend. We are headed to the upper 60s by the end of the week, 70s by Friday. Some sunshine in there, so that's the good news. We do have to go ahead and bargain with Mother Nature. We're getting some rain on Saturday. That's a look at your weather. We'll check back in pretty soon. Over to you guys.
Just have to get through the weekend. So much respect again for those runners. Amazing. Well, it seems like it's just been weeks since we've seen the Cavs in action in the playoffs, but the wait is almost over. And RG3 continues to get adjusted to life as a Brown. And it's more struggles for the Indians ace. Hakeem Dermish has all those details in this morning's sports report.
I think we're extremely anxious and eager. I think, we don't mind some rest, but 8 or 9 days is a lot, and then it's just more conditioning days for us. And when the winter comes out on Sunday, we'll be ready.
Rested and ready. It's been the theme thus far for the Cavaliers. They had 8 days off between the first and second round. And when they tip off on Tuesday, they'll have had 9 days of rest. Rest is a premium in the playoffs, and LeBron is enjoying that luxury. He needs it. He's played nearly 7,900 minutes in the playoffs. That's 7th most in NBA history. But Coach Tyronn Lue says now there's less of a burden on LeBron.
With Kyrie and Kevin playing at a high level, he can take a lot of mileage off of his body. The usage rate, and just kind of see and figure out the flow of the game. I don't think he's been in this position before. We can just sit back and see the flow of the game, see when he gets to take over the game, and now it's just been great for him. I mean, the average 23 points or 24 points, and sweep both series is big for us because now our other guys are stepping up, they're playing well, and we know LeBron always can play well.
Okay, here's a look at the upcoming schedule for the Eastern Conference Finals. Game 1 is Tuesday at the Q. Cavs will find out who they're playing today. You can watch Game 7 between the Heat and Raptors here on NewsChannel 5, 3:30 this afternoon. We'll have a Cavs special immediately following that game. Cavs aren't the only ones chasing a championship. Coach Jared Bednar and the Lake Erie Monsters facing the Grand Rapids Griffins in the Central Division Finals. Monsters leads the series 3-1, trying to take the next step in the Calder Cup playoffs. Kirby Reichel gives the Monsters a 1-0 lead in the first period, but it was all Griffins after that. They scored 6 unanswered goals. Yes, 6. Tyler Bertuzzi had himself a game. He had a hat trick, and the Griffins crushed the Monsters 6-1. Lake Erie will try to close out the series on Monday in Grand Rapids. So who are we going to be cheering for at quarterback when Week 1 rolls around? Come on. It's going to be RG3. The Browns just don't want to commit yet. That's fine. We'll wait. Meantime, Robert Griffin III got his very first taste of Fan Fest today. I hope he likes pumpkins. The Browns QB posing with pumpkin head. Meantime, head of football operations Sashi Brown is entertaining the idea that RG3 could be a long-term answer. Browns have had 24 different starting quarterbacks since 1999. Robert Griffin III will likely be the 25th. Yet Coach Hugh Jackson is still evaluating.
And I know everybody wants us an anointed guy. That's not going to happen right this second. I don't think I've had enough time, and they haven't had enough time in the system that we run to feel very comfortable yet. Let's go through OTAs, and let's get into training camp, and then let's see where we are. When the real bullets start flying, when guys are going after you, trying to take you down.
He doesn't want to give it away. He knows it. All right, we've got a full slate of coverage for you this morning on NewsChannel 5. First at 11, it's Inside the Cleveland Browns with Dustin Fox, Sarah Carnes. Then at 11:30, it's another edition of the Dog Pound Report. Andy Baskin and the guys put a bow on rookie minicamp with behind-the-scenes access you won't get anywhere else. Talking baseball now, and yesterday the Indians put Michael Brantley on the 15-day DL. The star left fielder has been bothered by inflammation and fatigue in his surgically repaired right shoulder. Brantley injured it at the end of last season trying to make a diving catch against the Twins. To fill his spot, Cleveland called up utility man Michael Martinez from AAA. Indians continuing their series against Minnesota. Top 5, Corey Kluber pitching to Juan Centeno with a runner on, two-seam fastball, and that's gone. 2-run home run, his very first Major League homer. Kluber gave up 4 runs in 6 2/3 innings, loses his second straight start. Twins beat the Indians 6-3. Minnesota snaps an 8-game losing streak. Indians can still win the series later today. That's it for your morning sports. I'm Hakeem Dermish. Have a great day.
And as Hakeem mentioned earlier, Browns fans were able to get up close and personal with their favorite team yesterday. During the event, though, at First Energy Stadium, the Browns donated new state-of-the-art helmets to North Ridgeville High School's football team.
It's an awesome environment. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It means a lot to our team.
Every bit that we can do to get more of these helmets and that technology out into the schools to young men who want to play this sport, the greatest sport in the world, we're happy to do it.
North Ridgeville High School was selected by Helmets. It's a program headed by the Browns, University Hospitals, and United Healthcare to improve the safety of young athletes.
And I love this story. A 96-year-old California man can finally cross college graduate off his list of accomplishments. Alfonso Gonzalez donned the cap and gown for the University of Southern California's 2016 class. The last time he walked the stage was his high school graduation in 1939. The war veteran served in the Navy and the Marines, later becoming a successful business owner. He said his family eventually pushed him to go back to school.
It took me 65 years to complete my studies, but I did.
It's got to be a great feeling.
Oh, it's a great feeling.
And Gonzalez received his Bachelor's of Science in Zoology. He is USC's oldest graduate ever.
Love that. You could actually put that as an official definition of determination in the dictionary.
Definitely.
Perfect. Still to come this morning, state lawmakers are pushing to continue a freeze on clean energy requirements, why environmental groups are pushing back this morning.
And it's an image that's hard to forget, a naked man running through traffic on the interstate. Now that man is learning his punishment for the spectacle.
You're watching Good Morning Cleveland, our weekend edition with those overcast skies ahead of downtown Cleveland. We'll be right back.
The news continues right now on News Channel 5, on your side.
The Cleveland Rite Aid Marathon is well underway, 3.5 hours into the race. We are at the finish line, tens of thousands of people hitting the streets, running throughout Cleveland today. We will check in with you live from the finish line in just a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Meg, and welcome back to this Sunday edition of Good Morning Cleveland. I'm Nick Foley.
And I'm Megan Hickey. Meg Shaw will join us with more on the marathon shortly. But first, let's get a check on the forecast with Power 5 meteorologist Samara Theodore. Samara?
Good morning, everyone. So, if you don't know, now you know. We are waking up to a rain-snow mix. We saw a few lightning strikes. It's extremely windy. Boy, is it the day to stay warm inside, or lucky for our marathon runners, hopefully they're running pretty hard to gain some heat there. We are seeing Solon under that area where we're seeing snowflakes. This is that rain-snow boundary line in the pink there. So Bainbridge, it was raining not too long ago, but don't be shocked by a few flurries that start hitting the ground. Now, for the most part in the snow belt, we've been seeing a light coating, a bit of a dusting, but no major accumulation. And I don't think we will, just not enough for that. But still cold and still wintry weather in spring. So here's a look right now at who's under a frost advisory starting tomorrow morning, okay? You got that? Tomorrow morning. That's when that frost advisory does begin. A freeze watch also goes into effect overnight, so that means you want to protect all that vegetation. We're going to get it checked, and I'll let you know when the warmth is coming back pretty soon here. For now, over to you, Nick and Megan.
Thanks, Samara. This terrible weather not keeping runners from trying for their personal best this morning.
Yeah, bosses, if you're watching, you need to give your workers off tomorrow if they ran this race. They definitely deserved it. The Rite Aid Cleveland Marathon began at 7 this morning. Our own Meg Shaw is live along the marathon route right now. She's been braving the elements right along these runners. And how's it going so far, Meg?
Hey, Nick, I totally agree with you about letting your employees off if they ran today. This is, I mean, look at this wind. It is insane out here today. I mean, these runners are really battling all of the elements that you could think of in this race. I want to step out of the way, show you the finish line here. A lot of folks who are running the marathon finished. The winner of the men's finished in 2 hours and 18 minutes, but we're still seeing a lot of half marathon finishers at this point, a lot of marathon. They're all coming in, and the incredible part is the announcer was just talking about it. These people, I mean, look at this. They are running through this finish line. They are running hard through this finish line. I actually just spoke with a runner a couple of minutes ago. She was telling me she ran the half marathon. Today was actually her personal best. She ran a half marathon a couple of weeks ago, and she said she ran 15 minutes faster today because she was telling me this weather made her want to get to the finish line. She just wanted to be done. So incredible job for her. I know she ran the half marathon. I'm sure these marathon folks are thinking the same thing. As soon as you get across the finish line, you're done. So they're running faster. I just can't really reiterate how much these people are going through today with this weather. And I want to point out, a lot of people who are crossing the finish line, they're getting their food, their drinks. 17,000 bananas are eaten today, and more than 14,000 cookies are consumed by these runners today. Of course, there are about 20,000 runners out here today, so of course, a lot of food. Again, kudos to all of these runners that we've seen today. We saw them at the mile marker 6 in Tremont earlier this morning, and now here at the finish line. Incredible job by all of these people. And our very own Janessa Webb ran today also. I know that you guys have pictures of her back in the studio.
That's
we
right.
do, yeah, certainly do.
Yeah, that's right. Power of 5 meteorologist Janessa Webb is among the thousands of runners in the Cleveland Marathon. Here's some pictures of her around mile 18. And yes, that's another News Channel 5 team member running with her, Kristen Byrne. What a good team member. She joined Janessa for a few blocks. We're just wishing Janessa the best right now. And fingers crossed for a personal record.
Yeah, we are so proud of Janessa, so proud of everyone else also who got out there and braved those elements this morning. Just amazing to overcome those weather conditions. Well, it is a hard scene to forget. The Cleveland man who ran naked on Interstate 71 after a crash has been sentenced to 10 years in prison. Police say Tracy Martin sideswiped 4 cars and hit 2 other vehicles, injuring 6 people near Cincinnati last August, I should say, excuse me. Then he got out of the car completely naked and ran from police. A judge also banned Martin from driving for life. Now to a disturbing story in Akron. A man behind bars this morning. That man there accused of binding the hands and 2 feet of 2 girls with duct tape and sexually abusing them. 52-year-old Paul Burkhammer faces several charges, as you can imagine, including abduction and sexual imposition. The abuse allegedly happened at his Polk Avenue home. The girls told police Burkhammer tried to kiss them several years ago, but they never told because he threatened them.
And Nick, right now, Cleveland police are investigating whether 2 separate drive-by shootings are connected. Police say 24-year-old Devontae McLean was shot and killed Friday night in the area of East 80th and Cedar. Around the same time, police say someone shot at a home on Golden Avenue. The bullet broke a window and injured a 2-year-old. Anyone with information about either shooting should call Cleveland police. And a Hamilton man is lucky to be alive this morning after a massive explosion and fire in his home.
If that wasn't bad enough, the explosion coming on the heels of the man's home getting ransacked. The flames after the blast tell the story here. Greg Gibbs says he returned to his house Friday after visiting his parents for a few weeks and noticed the furnace and several of the sink's pipes were missing. When he went downstairs, he flicked on his lighter to get a better look. That was a bad idea.
I wake up, this whole side of the house had been blown off, that side whole house had been blown off. I jumped out my back door.
Hamilton fire investigators continue to look into this fire. Gibbs and his friends suffered only minor injuries. Amazing in this blast. But still ahead, security experts tell us the RNC will likely be a big target for hackers. What Cleveland businesses are doing to ward off those cyber threats.
And after Good Morning Cleveland, on Inside the Cleveland Browns meet up with some of the team's rookies as they pack up in California and prepare to move to Ohio.
All right, a live look outside at the Rite Aid Cleveland Marathon finish line there. You can see wind is blowing. We're talking about 17-mile-per-hour winds just sustained. We're probably seeing those beads of sweat freeze over. Temperatures around 40 degrees. Really, really cold. We're going to talk more about this wintry weather in the middle of spring coming up in your full Power 5 forecast. Stick around. Good morning and welcome back. We've got the Doppler Network Power 5 radar on here, and you can see we're waking up to some snow as well as rain. It's a rain-snow mix depending on where you live. In the purple here, just in areas 271 near Solon, they're seeing some lighter flurries falling or lighter flakes, and then you see this pink and darker purple line. That is showing the differentiation between the rain and the snow. And along that line, just north of Twinsburg, that's where we're getting the mix. So I know we show the radar, but thanks to you, our viewers at home, Design Me in particular, you tweeted out this photo. This is in Beechwood, and this gives you an idea of what that purple on the radar actually looks like on the ground. We are seeing a light coating. Nothing in the way of accumulation today. It should be very brief. As we head throughout the day, we'll start to see this burn off, but we're still being impacted by it right now. Out towards Trumbull County, we are seeing some snow, whereas Rock Creek, not too far south and east of that, we are seeing some rain. So this is all lake effect generated. That's why it's continuing throughout the morning. We are expecting, though, things to improve improve by the afternoon. The only bad thing about it is we are going to see a lot of wind. Boston, parts of Everett also seeing some lighter rain just north of Hudson. You've got some snow on the way. Temperature is 32 degrees in Cleveland right now, 32 in Menor. I'm thinking about 50 for the high, maybe. That's a look at your forecast. Over to you guys.
All right, thanks, Tamara. Looking ahead today, the 2014 Gay Games, which were held here in Cleveland, are set to be immortalized with a sculpture. The Gay Community Endowment Fund will unveil the sculpture this afternoon at the J.S. Knight Convention Center in Akron. It was created by local master craftsman Don Drum. The Games brought more than 10,000 LGBT athletes from 60 countries to Northeast Ohio. And another new addition to Cleveland, a newly opened fire station. Station 36, located on West 131st Street, is the first fire station built in Cleveland in more than 2 decades. Residents say it's a step in the right direction for the neighborhood.
It makes me sleep a little bit better, makes me know that we're a little bit safer, and if our children need help, they can get it right now.
Station 36 is dedicated to former Cleveland Council members George Forbes and Mary Zone.
Well, Megan, some of Ohio's female lawmakers say women still face challenges while holding public office. State Representative Greta Johnson tells Cleveland.com that she and her colleagues have encountered offensive jokes and off-color remarks from male counterparts. The women interviewed said their home and family balance was called into question, and men often use belittling nicknames like kiddo and sweetie when talking to them. And staying in Columbus, lawmakers are now considering a pair of bills regarding Ohio's renewable energy mandates. One would extend the freeze on clean energy standards in the state for 3 years, and the other would freeze the requirements indefinitely. The majority of legislators are pushing for the extension despite objections from Governor John Kasich and environmentalists. The current 2-year freeze ends December 31st. Well, coming up at 11 on Inside the Cleveland Browns. Last week, you probably saw RG3 posing as a mannequin to surprise students in North Ridgeville High. Well, we were there to capture how it all went down.
And later on the Dog Pound Report, Browns rookies arrived in Berea on Thursday, and we've got exclusive access to all aspects of rookie mini camp. That's coming up after Good Morning Cleveland.
And so we are beginning the process of discussing what unity looks like in the Republican Party. And as I said before, this takes some time. This isn't done with a couple of meetings.
Yesterday, House Speaker Paul Ryan offered praise but still no endorsement for presumptive Republican nominee Donald Trump. He said he doesn't have a timeline, and congressional GOP staffers will meet with Trump aides this week to discuss policy.
And while Donald Trump works to gain the support of Washington Republicans, his camp is busy working to put their stamp on the Republican National Convention.
This week, Trump's top aides got their first look at Cleveland leading up to the RNC. News Channel 5's John Kosick has a look at their visit. Plus, I took a look at efforts to keep Cleveland cyber safe in this morning's Democracy 2016.
Good morning, Northeast Ohio. 9 weeks from tomorrow, it all gets underway. And Team Trump is already involved in the planning process. Representatives of the Donald came to Cleveland on Friday to meet with the committee on arrangements to go over the plans that have already been made.
How important was it to come in right away after Indiana and catch up on things?
Well, I'm sure Jeff is happy that he's got somebody to deal with now, and we want to make sure that all of the details are organized so that we can meld very comfortably with the RNC and have a very good convention.
Physically, the stage plans are sort of set because of the cast schedule. They're kind of locked into things. But as for programming, Monday there's a lot of convention-type business that has to take place. But after that, the Trump production value can kick in.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, though, are fairly flexible, and we will work with the Trump campaign, obviously, on programming for those 3 days and nights.
King also told me that he believes Gateway will be the safest place in America the week of the convention, but as our Megan Hickey found, threats often go beyond the physical.
The hacker group Anonymous and the city of Cleveland already have a history after shutting down the city's website to protest the shooting death of 12-year-old Tamir Rice.
The victim was only 12 years old and only had possession of a toy airsoft gun.
Just 2 years later, and on the eve of a historic convention.
To me, to hack into this would just take a couple of seconds.
Cybersecurity expert Dave Kennedy tells me that the threat goes far beyond the internet. Now groups like Anonymous can hack power grids, air conditioners, and even the airwaves.
Are expected again when the RNC comes to Cleveland.
This is a declaration of total war. Operation Trump engaged.
And now they have their sights set on Donald Trump.
We need you to shut down his websites. Research and expose what he doesn't want the public to know.
And Kennedy told me Cleveland's RNC is the perfect stage for their attack.
Think about what bigger stage that you have as a hacker than going into and tearing apart the Republican National Convention from a cyber capabilities.
He says there are plenty of ways to get to Trump. Even his supporters and sponsors could provide a pathway for hackers with just the click of a mouse.
And just by you clicking that link, I can actually take full control of your entire computer.
Cybersecurity expert Matt Neely told me local businesses, even those with no connection to the convention, could have their networks or financial data threatened. He worries that a variety of hackers could use the convention as a smokescreen.
Some could be just taking the websites offline, defacing the websites to get out political messages or disrupt business.
And it's not just Cleveland area businesses that need to be on the lookout. It's residents, too. Kennedy says large crowds like the ones expected this summer often draw ATM skimmers.
Cover your hand off when you're actually doing your PIN number, because a lot of times skimmers will place small, tiny micro cameras in the area to capture your PIN as you're entering the PIN into the actual device.
But both experts tell me it's not too late for residents and businesses to figure out a defense plan.
The sky is not falling. There are good things that folks are doing to try to protect against these types of hacks.
They say put together a critical response plan in case of an emergency and make sure your critical data is backed up.
A little bit of preparation can go a long way.
Especially when it comes to knowing what to do.
I could hack into, depending on
if a suspicious email comes your way.
Operation Trump engaged. We are anonymous.
Whether it's cybersecurity or physical security, the efforts to keep Cleveland safe this summer are extensive. But what they didn't want to happen in Cleveland was what happened in Tampa in 2012, and that was a massive security zone which turned downtown into a ghost town. They don't want that to happen here because the people of Cleveland were a big part of the city landing the convention, and they want you to be a part of it. That Cleveland really wanted the Republican National Convention was known to the RNC immediately in March of 2014 when they braved a D.C. snowstorm to make their presentation.
As the day wore on, fewer and fewer people were able to get in, but the city of Cleveland's people came in and said, we're here, just remember that we were here when other people weren't.
That said something about Cleveland and its people, something reinforced when the site selection committee came to Cleveland a few months later.
The thing that I think has impressed our committee the most is the people.
The hunger and the enthusiasm to make this happen. That is something that you can't replace.
That's why those behind the convention want to make sure those people get to share in it.
What we want to do, John, is make it very easy and accessible for people who want to come downtown, be around downtown, to see and feel and experience what the atmosphere is like around a convention, to do that.
Gilbert said in the coming weeks a number of large events will be announced, some private, some for the public. But it goes beyond that to little things to make downtown more exciting for both guests and locals.
Some of those may be in the form of very specific events. Others may be just our way of putting entertainment around different streets to make sure that things are even more lively than they otherwise would be.
And while a lot of downtown restaurants are booked for private events during the week of the convention, a lot more of them are going to be open for regular business. The RNC Host Committee will be working to get that message out in the coming weeks. With Democracy 2016, I'm John Kasich. Enjoy your Sunday.
Thank you, John. Yeah, so many faces will be coming to Cleveland for the first time during the RNC, so the idea is to leave them with a really good impression.
Oh,
so
there's a lot of pressure on me already.
Right, let's hope that they're not seeing these weather forecasts the last few days, right? Because they might not want to come. It's going to get better.
Luckily I have enough time. Let's go ahead now and see what's going on. This is what my friends in Cleveland are waking up to. Cloudy skies out there. So it is a bit of an overcast Sunday. It's chilly, it's windy, it's wet, it's freezing. Let's get to the big time, big temp, 40 degrees, 10:51. Thank you for waking up with us. Lake effect, that has been the culprit behind all the wacky weather we've been seeing this morning. Now, right now, we already have some scattered showers moving in, but primarily in our snow belt region, we saw some light snow, we saw some gravel this morning, we also saw some rain showers, and we're still seeing it in a few neighborhoods. So let's zoom in, get down to ground level, see what's going on here. Lenox, just south of Ashtabula, seeing those green colors. Cherry Valley, you just crossed that threshold between rain and snow, so it's a bit of a rain-snow mix down there. And then we head a little farther west and south towards areas like southern Geauga County. Auburn finally getting some relief this morning. You probably have a coating on that wind chill walking out the door. Bigger picture right now, I'm showing you what's going on in the atmosphere. We have cold air right now sinking down into parts of northeast Ohio, but it's going even farther south than that, down towards areas like Tennessee. And this cold air, along with the energy in place, has given us some lake effect snow mid-May. Current temperature is 40 degrees right now, stepping outside in Cleveland, 38 in Menor, 44 in Norwalk. Now, this is very significant because I want you to choose a city here. Pick where you live. I'll choose Cleveland, 40 degrees downtown. We zoom in and we take a look at what happens when you factor in that wind chill. We're looking at 32 degrees for a feel-like temperature. So it feels much colder than it actually is because we are seeing wind speeds 17 miles per hour standard. We're even seeing some gusts a little bit higher than that. Let's break down this Power 5 7-day forecast. I got a lot to talk about. So we are going to be seeing a high of 50 degrees today. And that's it. We're going to be in the 40s for most of the day. This afternoon will hit around 50. Temperatures dropping overnight into the 30s. So much so the National Weather Service has actually prompted a frost advisory for this evening as well as a freeze watch. So anyone who's gardening, if you have to take care of your vegetation, you're going to want to think about that. Then we move into Monday. Plenty of sunshine for Monday. Mother Nature really trying to get on our good side after today. Highs reaching the 60s. And then I want to take you to the end of the week. So notice we're on a warming trend. We are headed to a little bit closer to the average for this time of year. We're looking at about 70 by Friday, but of course, we know it always comes at a cost. Saturday, we do have more rain showers moving in. That's a look at your Power 5 forecast. Stick around. We've got more news and weather on the other side of the break.
And finally, the ramp up to the football season has already begun. News Channel 5 has a preview for Browns fans this week. Next at 11 a.m., it's Inside the Cleveland Browns. And then right after that, the Dog Pound Report. Our sports team is at rookie minicamp and will tell you who the next Browns standout will be. Samara, how's the weather?
All right, let's get a check of that right now. Here it is. Temperature is starting off in the upper 30s, low 40s. This morning, we are going to be seeing cloudy conditions, that rain, snow tapering off through the afternoon, but very, very windy with highs only near 50.
Just have to get through this weekend, right? And then,
Monday.
we got the light at the end of the tunnel coming up all next week. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us on Good Morning Cleveland. Sunday Inside the Cleveland Browns, we said, is next. And after the game, when the Cavs find out whether it's Toronto or Miami, we'll have a Cavs preview special as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day.
Happy Sunday.